What's going on, people? It is Irish Gunner HD here, you can call me Irish, and today you're going to be watching some Battlefield 4 gameplay. So up first is a couple of SRA, pretty impressive moments, what I would consider the closest thing that I've come to only a Battlefield moment here, as I eject out of our helicopter, pull a parachute and take out the enemy chopper from while in the air. I thought that was pretty cool. And then up next is just a 1-2 uni flu. And then there's a game of team deathmatch on, I can't remember, Gulf of Oman in BF4, and then up last there's like one little cool kind of kill streak from BF3 that I thought would be fun to include. But yeah, basically today I wanted to talk about the fact that I am a Nazi. Apparently. Yeah, so there was an article by a gentleman by the name of Tyler Wilde. I believe it was last week. I've already tried to make this video once, but I've watched it back a couple of times to make sure that it was like kind of on point and stuff like that, and I wasn't happy with it. So basically, starting again. Article last week, or I believe it was last week, from a guy called Tyler Wilde on PCMR saying that he wanted us to stop using the PC Master Race moniker, kind of nickname thing that we have as PC gamers because of Nazis, essentially. Yes, I'm actually serious. This is real words that came from a real human being. Basically, he said that it was not doing us any good and it was bringing in negative connotations and stuff like that. And okay, sort of, you can see where somebody maybe that's a bit bored might draw the distinction, or draw the connection, should I say. But basically, he kind of misses the entire purpose of the kind of the link. Basically, this kind of reference is not going to be gotten by a whole lot of people, but in the most basic terms, I support a football team in from England called Tottenham Hotspur. We are owned primarily by Jewish kind of investors and companies and stuff like that. Our chairman, our CEO, whatever you want to call him, is Jewish and stuff like that. And as a way of mocking us and taking the piss out of us, basically, are like the other team's fans used to take to calling us Yids, which is, if you don't know, it's basically the Jewish equivalent of saying the N-word to a black person. But what we did as a team and supporters, we took it on, and now when you go to a Tottenham match, we chant the phrase Yid Army. Like, we've taken it on as our kind of, well, yeah, no, you can't use that against us anymore. That's our thing now. And like, there's been kind of controversies about like trying to ban it in the stadiums and stuff like that. But basically what I'm getting at is, here's the connection. PC Master Race, it was a dumb joke made, but well, it wasn't dumb. It was funny at the time. Made by a guy called Yahtzee when he was doing a video about something anyway, and he basically made a point about filthy console peasants and the glorious PC Master Race. Tongue in cheek, probably should have never went further than that. In general, like, it probably usually wouldn't have never gone further than that. But of course, being the awesome people that we were like, actually, that's pretty appropriate. Like, that's pretty on point. We actually are the master race, if you will, or like the strongest technological kind of thing. If we're talking about consoles and we're talking about PCs, we are the master race as far as that kind of stuff goes. Now with the Nazi thing, right? So basically, if you don't know why this is controversial, the whole idea of master race is believed to be from kind of Hitler and Nazis in World War II wanting the kind of blue eye, blonde hair, master race, Aryan race kind of thing. When in actuality, as far as I can see, it goes back to, I think it's Nietzsche. If I get this wrong, I do apologize, but it's been a while since I've heard about this stuff, or I've looked into this stuff. But I believe it's the philosopher or scientist, Nietzsche, Albert Nietzsche, or whatever. Basically, the idea of Übermensch, all of mankind coming together to become basically the human master race, uniting and pulling all our strengths together to achieve common good or whatever. So that's where his entire article is fundamentally wrong. Like, his entire article and argument is based on a complete misunderstanding. It's the same with the swastika and stuff like that. People associate now, you don't ever want to be caught doing or being in contact with anything to do with a swastika because of the Nazis and because of Hitler and all that kind of stuff. When in actuality, again, it was a Indian, I believe, or like somewhere in like the Asian continents, or countries, should I say. It's like a symbol of power, I believe, as far as I know, or like a symbol of, it's a symbol for something else, basically. You'll see it now, like, you still see it, as far as I know. If you're walking down the streets in certain Asian countries, you will see swastikas all over the place, pretty much, and it's a lot of the time they'll be flipped because of the connotations now, but basically, fundamentally, he's wrong. He's completely wrong. Like, he's based that whole argument on the idea that the PC Master Race is kind of, it's insulting to people and it's bad and it's negative because of Nazis. Well, no, actually, yes, it is bad because of Nazis and nobody wants a master race on this planet, but your entire argument was wrong because it's actually the idea of, as I said, Übermensch, people coming together or whatever. But basically, what I found funny about it was that, like, it's true. Like, like, where excuse me. Whereas Hitler's idea and the Nazis' idea is horrible and disgusting and all that kind of stuff because that's the way they wanted it to be. With the PC Master Race, that's the way it actually is. Like, they wanted this horrible thing to happen and kind of to be just disgusting, whatever. But with the PC Master Race, it actually is the case. Like, it's not up for debate. We actually are, like, PCs are actually stronger than consoles. Like, it's not up for debate. It is the case. So whether we want to call ourselves the greatest or the best in the world or the master race, it's right. It's true. And it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It's not hurting anybody. Consoles aren't. Console players, the people that are not even console players, but peasants, people that believe that consoles are stronger, they're not getting physically hurt. They're not, like, if they are, they will not physically hurt, but like if they're getting emotionally hurt over this, I'm sorry, but that's not really our problem. Like, it's a bit ridiculous to take that seriously. So, as far as I'm concerned, using a phrase like that, it's not offensive to the people that it should be offending, which is console peasants, basically. And if it is, God almighty, God help yous. Yous are beyond saving. And it's not offensive to Jews or people that suffered from World War II or that, because it's not actually about the idea of the original idea of Master Race. Like, so that's the thing. But it's going to lead me in now, and I think I'm going to talk over the gameplay, so I do apologize. I'll try and keep it as short as possible. But it's also going to lead me into the idea of something that I didn't want to touch with a 10-foot barge pole, because I really didn't want to give it any more kind of attention or put any more of a spotlight on it than than the already massive engulfing one that it already has. Basically, the whole sudden upturn in the last year or two of, I think they call them social justice warriors, and people arguing with social justice warriors, whatever they call themselves. Basically, when did gaming stop? Excuse me. When did gaming and gaming journalism and stuff like that stop being just, hey, I'm working on a game, man or female, working on a game, male or female, I should say. Game comes out. People like it, people don't like it. Reviews or review websites and magazines do their articles, keep it strict and to the point, talking about the gameplay, talking about the graphics, talking about the story, whether it was good or bad, any kind of stuff like that. At what point did it all of a sudden become the thing to do, to go, that's a woman releasing that game, I'm going to kick up a fuss. And then the woman releasing the game and then being like, oh, well, you didn't like my game, it's because I'm a woman, sexism, feminism, blah, 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 blah. And then, like, game review websites being like, forget the story, forget the mechanics. There's a better chance of getting clicks on our website if we find and look through, say, I don't know, what, I can't think of an example off the top of my head, but like, let's look through a game and try and find a scene, like, say in GTA, where you kill hookers. Let's draw up some controversy over that. When the fuck did that happen? Like, why is this just like the norm now? Like, you can't, like, it's mind-boggling to me that, like, rather than people just coming home from work or from school or from college or whatever, turning on their games, playing their games, chatting with their friends about it, and then shutting off for the night and going to bed. When did it become about, oh God, I have to write this article and I have to make this video and get everyone all riled up? Like, obviously, keep in mind, right, I'm not on either side here. I'm not a sexist and I'm not a anti-sexist. Is that the word? Like, I'm not sticking up for either side here. Like, I grew up with a mother and 3 sisters in my household, so no problems with women. I'm still friends with all my ex-girlfriends. Never had any hatred or problem with women. But on the same side, I don't think that you can call, like, I don't think they should be calling foul and crying foul at every little thing that happens because it's offensive. It's just like, it's art, and it's as much as people don't want to say that it's art, games are art. Like, just get used to it. Like, gaming, creating a game is a process that takes time, it takes creativity, it takes talent, it takes skill. It's an art. Like, it just is. And in the process of creating an art, a lot of the times with games, it's about the story. And yes, stories aren't always the most enjoyable thing in the world. Yes, like think of the amount of films that you've seen with incredible violence, incredible sexual abuse and stuff like that, even rape scenes in certain films and stuff like that. It happens in films and it's never made a big deal of. Like, people will look at that and go, yes, that added a very important point to that film and made me feel very uncomfortable, but it made me think a lot about that scene or whatever. Whereas in games, there's a rape scene and it's like, oh no, that's it, shut it down, shut it all down, close it now, we're done. Games have to stop. We have to destroy all games, destroy gaming websites. There was a sex scene in this, or there was a rape scene in this game. It's disgraceful. And it's something that they covered, I think it was on the most recent Co-Optional podcast with Total Biscuit and Dodger and Jesse Cox and whoever the guest was, I can't remember. They covered it in depth on that, and it was a very, very good discussion. So I do recommend, if you haven't seen that one, definitely go and check it out. It's the most recent one, I believe. But yeah, that's it. I'm sure that I'm missing out something else that I wanted to say, but there we are. There's my long ranty getting it off my chest of the whole situation in gaming now that's not actually got anything to do with gaming. So I'm going to go back now and I'm going to play some games and I'm going to keep my nose out of all of this stuff, because that's what we should be doing. We should just be playing games and enjoying them and not trying to look up for, like, not trying to find an argument or a thing to hate on or a thing to cause controversy. Like, I was going to go down, in my original take, I went down the whole rabbit hole of talking about gaming journalism, and I can't even get into that. That still is something that is probably for another video. But yeah, that's it. I apologize again for going so long over the gameplay. Hope I wasn't too all over the place, but if you enjoyed it, please do leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new here. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.